we're just about finished blocking in our heroine. In this lesson, we will animate the follow-through to her strike. So what's going to happen next is she's going to land and kind of follow through from her counterattack. So let's go ahead and get started. We'll grab her character set, select her control objects, just go a few frames after. On frame 22, we'll have her translate back in the z-axis. Not too far. That might be a little too far. I'll bring her a bit closer. Then we'll want to translate her down. So this is where she's again going to make contact with the floor. So this wasn't a big leap at all. It was just a small hop. So on frame 22, again, after translating her down, we can then take a look at more of her front view just to make sure she's still moving in the right direction through this angle. So it looks like we can move her over a bit more in the x-axis also, more to her left, our right. So let's go ahead and translate her over a bit more. A little bit more. Okay, great. That looks pretty good. All right, so at this point, let's go ahead and work on her landing. So, the left foot, being that it will make contact with the surface, let's go ahead and grab the x-axis, the rotate x-axis, and set that to 180 degrees. And the z-axis also, just to make sure her foot is going to plant. We don't want it slanted at all. Then we'll go ahead and translate it down to the floor. All right, so you can see how we have a bit of space and IK locking, no problem at all. We just need to go to our toe and foot roll controls. I'll grab the toe roll and start to rotate that up slightly, and then grab the ball control and rotate that up a bit more. Great. All right, so she's still twisting around. Let's keep that in mind. We want to grab the foot control again and have that twist just slightly, thinking about the transition from the pose before to this pose, and then what will happen after. So we always want to kind of plan out the action in our minds just to always keep track of her performance so we know exactly how to pose her. And again, those thumbnails help. All right, so I'd say that's looking pretty good. So at this point, again, I'll grab all of her controls, deselect her planted foot, just to translate her back a little bit more. Okay, great. And remember, she's still twisting, so let's go ahead and grab her center of gravity control. Start to twist her around in the y-axis so her hip is kind of pointed at the red character. I'll rotate it a little bit more to her left so we get a good transition from the previous pose again to this landing. All right, now we can have the right foot swing around also. So what we'll do here is kind of have that swing and also touch the surface. That means is we'll need to go back to our center of gravity and twist that around just a bit more. And I'll go ahead and have the foot control rest on the floor. Let's make sure this is on frame 22. All right, you can see the knees need some work, so let's go ahead and swing them around. Okay, great. And now, going back to all of her controls, let's go ahead and deselect the feet. And just work on keeping our balance on this landing. Okay, great. Looks really nice. Might want to translate her up a bit more, but not too much. So that's pretty good. Taking a look at the right foot, might want to kind of bring that forward in the Z-axis a bit more. And in the X-axis. And now we can grab her left foot control, kind of swing that around just a bit more. Kind of twisting that based off of the position of her body. We'll grab her foot roll control and tweak that just to make sure her ankle is not broken. And then we can start to tweak the knees. We're just about finished with this pose, believe it or not. We'll need to consider the twisting action that would happen here. So let's go ahead and tweak her hips first, just to have a better position in her lower body. But now for the chest, we're going to want to have that rotate back. So we have some nice follow through action in the chest as she starts to swing around to her final pose. Okay, great. So what I'd like to do here, just twisting her chest just a little bit more, is consider the follow through in the neck and head, so we can kind of have that twist back, almost as if she's still looking at the target. Great. Going back to the left foot, I'd like to open up her stance a bit more, again, to keep her balanced, so we can go ahead and translate that back in the Z-axis and also the X. And then tweak the position of her knee. Selecting all of our controls, we'll deselect the feet and just go ahead and translate her over just to keep her balanced. I think the back right now is a bit too upright, so I'll go ahead and grab the center of gravity, go to our rotate tool, and just kind of rotate her back just a bit more. Beautiful. All right, let's go ahead and tweak the arms. So let's look at the sword. It's going to kind of start to swing around, so let's go ahead and swing that over. But being that she's made contact with the red character, we're going to want to rotate the blade back some more. Need to make sure that that pose is going to be very clear. This is a pretty fast action, so we want to make sure it's going to be readable. We'll grab her elbow control and fix its orientation. And we still want that arm to be extended. So we have some nice clean follow through as the blade starts to swing around. Okay, let's go ahead and check this out in the top view just to make sure we like what we have. I might grab the arm control and swing that forward just a little bit more. See, that looks pretty good. Now for the left arm, just about done. Let's go ahead and have that kind of bend in bend around. And rotate the wrist up. And really capture more of a feminine pose. Something that's a bit artistic also, to show the elegance of her form and her swordsmanship skill. Okay, so just to kind of look at this more closely, the left arm in more of a top view, looks like it can swing around just a little bit more, so I'll go ahead and grab that control object and have that happen. Again, making sure this is all on frame 22. Let's go ahead and just bring that back a bit more. Grab the elbow, swing that back, and then tweak the orientation of her shoulder. It was a bit too far forward. I'll bring the elbow down, and I think we're good to go there on her follow through to the attack. Beautiful. Okay, so we just have just a few more poses to build. We have our final pose and a breakdown, again, to smooth the transition from this follow through to her final position. So let's go ahead and finish her blocking pass in the next lesson.